Well, hello and welcome to another riveting episode of Tim Time Projects Theater. We're your favorite storyteller, Tim, here, me. We're going to look at this HQ 129X a little bit more. Just a couple of things I was working on. One is this coupling right here. I'll see if I can zoom you in and I'll show you. It's always nice if you're working on one of these at home or if you bought one and you're missing parts to see videos. That's what I like to a lot of times search. Oh, there we go. A lot of times I like to search YouTube for videos, but or stills even. Still pictures are great too because if you're replacing something, of course, and you move it and you don't remember how it went. So I took a bunch of stills, but anyhow, this is the coupling here, and it attaches to the front, and I have it loose right now. But a couple of things to notice is it can go on that way. And I believe, if I can get my glasses on. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't have a flat. This only has one flat, this shaft. But the shaft on this has two. So it can go on either way. It has Allen wrenches, or an Allen screw. There's a set screw that stops it. Can't see it now. There we go. Okay. And if you take this off, and you can take that apart and clean it all up, but this shaft will actually pull out. And it's good to note how everything is in case you plan on changing it or turning it. But yeah, that shaft goes in. It goes all the way through and it controls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think I even said somewhere that some of these have a front and a rear. So when you look on the schematic, you might see switch, I think it's switch 2, it'll call switch 2-1 front and switch 2-2 rear. But so that's how that all comes apart. And I took it out and cleaned the shaft. These are like the ceramic switches. These aren't so bad. I don't really worry about any type of compound affecting them. But it's an insulator with and I guess it's a phenolic covering or like coating on them that preserves it. It's I think phenolics like almost like a resin. And I'm told, I haven't really checked it, but I'm told that some of the cleaners can affect that. So they really recommend you don't spray them. But the only problem is the part that moves around, and this hasn't been on or fired up in quite a while, so I'm not worried about putting my finger in here. But always be careful that if you're going to do that, these are high voltages. But what was I? Oh, I was going to say that the ring actually floats on. Probably would be good to have a little bit of lubricant, but I'm not really sure what to use. So there's that. Oh, and then there was another finding that I found. A finding that I found that's pretty interesting. Let me get that for you real quick. All right, I knocked my microphone gain down by 1 because it just seemed that it was getting too hot. So here is the dials for the frequency and band spread. And I noticed there was one fellow that redid one of these, and he used a cleaner, and he got his white. I don't think this is ever going to get white. And a couple of things, when I look even underneath here, it doesn't get white. And you would think that if it was sun bleached, that would be the problem. In fact, where it was stopped in the dial, you can see that's a little bit, that looks actually really white on camera, but it's not hardly at all. But that's probably where if anything, that's where it got sun bleached, that turned it white. Now, when I look online at some of these that were on Facebook and eBay and just any of the ones I could find, even on YouTube, the ones that had the red writing on them, they seem to have a yellow, all of them have a yellow wheel. And the newer, I think the red actually denotes the older model, but the newer ones, or at least the ones with white, or that have the white lettering, the one that the fellow online did, he's got the white lettering. His turned white when he cleaned it with the cleaner. I've tried all different cleaners on this in little sections just to see if it would clean, and it hasn't affected it. And even anywhere, you can't see anywhere that was hidden from the UV rays of the sun and cigarette smoke and anything, it's not white. So maybe that's another clue. Again, something I don't know. Maybe if somebody has one or more of these, they can verify that. So without further tie up, there's a couple things we can take a look at here. I took off up in here where the crystal filter lives, and I think that's where I pick up, is after I took this apart. This is the crystal filter one. This is the BFO ones on the other side. So took it apart just to look and make sure that there was nothing that needed attention. And then the other side is the BFO, and I play around with that a little bit too. So enjoy. All right, this is the crystal filter, and I think it's the, is it this first or second IF? Let me look at the schematic. Crystal filter in the second IF is in here, and I took these. This plate goes on here like so. This one goes on the top. Took the screws out, and this is just hanging here. Don't know what that is. Thought it was a broken wire, but there's not a piece of wire hanging out of it. Maybe it might be like heat shrink tubing. I don't know. The connections, the crystal filter's in here. This little black and white thingy, that's the filter. That appears to be connected. I don't know. I have to look into this. Okay, I'm going to try and pump a 1 megahertz signal in there and see if we can pick it up on the first of the bands here. And we'll go all the way through. It's funny, I clean those switches. The more I clean them and the more I work on them, the better the thing seems to work. Oop. No, that was me just turning the thing on. So I'm going to put in 1 megahertz. Let's go with frequency 1 megahertz, and amplitude will be, we'll go with minus 80 dBm. Now, one thing I did read up and find about is that on the first two positions, which is the 54 to 132 and the 132 to 3.2, this really doesn't do anything. The band spread. So the only one would do is this. So I've already checked, and there's nothing live up here that's going to electrocute me. Let me turn on the output. Output's on. We modulate it so we can find it easier. Here we go. All right, so nothing heard on that one. Have to watch. This will actually go down to where it'll short if I go that far that way. Let's see, the next is going to be 132 to 32, 3.2. That one sounds a lot more promising. Let me go to, would we say, we'll pick something in the middle. I don't know, 2.5. No, I don't want that. Frequency. 2.3 megahertz. And we got the signal coming out. don't think that's me. Nope, that's not me. All right, so I don't hear it on that either. Let's try. Let's try 3.2 and 5.7. Pick something in the middle of my 4.5. Frequency 4.5 megahertz. That's the next one done. .5 megahertz. Oh, there we go. So you can fine tune it a little bit with this. All right, so there we have that. Let's try going back up to 132 and try and, I don't know, 2.3 again, I guess. Mirror that. Frequency 2.3 megahertz. All right, so nothing on that band. Let's try 5.7 to 10. We'll pick something 7. We'll just say 7. I don't know, we'll go with 8. Frequency 8 megahertz. All right, well that band works. Next is 10.8. So we'll pick about 14 or 10. Yeah, I'm sorry, 10 to 18. What am I saying? 10.8. 10 to 18. So we'll pick about 14 megahertz and try that one. Frequency 14 megahertz. Turn the volume back up. Oh. Turn the sensitivity down a little bit. All right, well that band works. Next will be 18 to 31, and we heard the CBers on that, so we know that band's working, but we'll give it a shot. We'll go about, I don't know, 25, 20. We'll go to 26. Not 25, what the heck? No, we'll go 26 because we were close to CB, so we heard that. 26 megahertz. Turn this back up because I don't hear anything. Sensitivity's all the way up. We know that band works. Was adding to it. If others have seen this, I know I have the same thing on my Holocrafters and another radio, like one of the Philcos I did. If the sensitivity is too high when you're picking up a signal, especially on these upper frequencies, the it's like microphonic. So if you turn the gain down a little bit, not quite as bad. Well, there. Where it turned off. But anyhow, if it's not receiving, you don't get that microphonic sound. But okay. I'm going to go back to the first two. And try coming back through that way. So what did we say? 1 megahertz for the first one. Frequency, 1 megahertz. There it is. Okay. I'll show you this here. This is the band spread. It doesn't work. It's disabled. It's disabled in that band. Okay, so that's that one. Now let me turn forward and come back with the switch. Now it's not there. Yeah, I think I really have to work on the switch alignment a little bit more. What was the next band? 5.4. 132, so we said like, I don't know, 2 megahertz, that's all. 2.2. That'll look crazy. 2.2 megahertz. Next band. And there it is. And again, this shouldn't work in that. Yeah, so that's true. So the next dilemma I have is, I don't know if the BFO is working. I mean, how do you know? So yesterday I did tune. I found a station that was doing Morse code, and all I got was clicks, no tone, just like sound. And yeah, I could do that again, but I turned this VFO switch, or the BFO switch for the beat frequency oscillator. I turned it to manual, AVC, and BFO, and adjusted the oscillator frequency up here. Made no difference. So I'm assuming that the BFO is not working. So I have to kind of look and see what we need to do to test that. In fact, I guess since I have a known frequency in there, if I turned it on now, I should get some kind of a heterodyning or sound from another frequency. So I'm going to switch it on. There, it's on now. Made no difference. I'll adjust this capacitor up here. I don't get any kind of a heterodyning from it. So I believe That's warm. I was going to say, I didn't think it was warm. I believe this is the tube that controls the BFO oscillator. So I guess the first thing to do would be check that. And I also think if this is the one that's under that aluminum housing underneath. So I'll go under there and double check my my capacitor and resistor replacement to make sure I didn't mess anything up there. Guess we can turn that off. You don't really need to listen to that too often. That'll drive you nuts. Let me see if we can pick anything up. I had a different antenna on it last night. And turn this off. And that's when I said I could hear some people on sideband, and I could hear some people on code on, I guess it'd be 80 meters. But I was having a really hard time tuning them in, and I guess if the BFO is not working, that will explain that. So let's. I probably have something I could use as a better antenna here. Let me see. Let me try something. Well, I don't have a actual alignment procedure anywhere for this radio. I put my little loop here. Let me get this off here. From my RTL SDR here. See if I can get a picture of that. And I did have an output from the BFO, except it was way down at like 440 kilohertz. So I just kind of took a guess and adjusted this little screw here, and as I turned it, the BFO frequency came further up. So, all right, so I'm going to see if I can show you how I do this. Here's my SDR, and this is just a coil. Anything I had here, this would be the oscillator tube for the beat frequency oscillator. So I'm going to bring it up around here, and hopefully I can capture the SDR on here as well. Doesn't matter anything about with the radio with band it's turned on to or anything, but let's see. Let's turn it on. It's going to take a second or two to warm up. Well, probably longer than a second, but and the BFO is all the way to the right, so we'll leave it turned off for a few minutes, and I'll get things set up, and we'll check it out on the screen here. So let's see when I turn the when I turn the BFO on, and I believe this red line, and I'll zoom in. When I go back, I'll zoom in, and we'll see the. Okay, and all those other things that came, those are just probably just because of the way the way I'm picking it up through the radio. Yeah, I'm sure it's noise that's in there, like different harmonics, but they probably aren't really a factor. But the little screw that I had mentioned on the side of the can, as I move that a little bit, you'll see. Let me get to the actual screen so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, here we go. See how they're marching up a little bit. Let me zoom in so I'm a little bit tighter. Okay, there it is there. Make sure you're looking at the same thing. Yeah. All right. See, as I'm moving it up and down the band, you can see. And the idea would be to get it right on that red line. That would be the 455 right there. So we should hear it. I would think you would hear it heterodyning or mixing with the frequency that's the IF frequency through here. So when I turn up the volume, we'll probably get some kind of noise. All right, so, and mind you, this isn't like a scientific tool or anything. It's an SDR, so it's going to be off by a little bit. Let me see if at what point we get. All right, so when a 0 beats, right, okay, well, the 0, there's no beat there, rated very slight, but rated 455, so that's pretty darn close. Now, I don't know if the IF of the radio itself is in alignment or not, so even though that's really close at 455, it still might not be making it through the IF. If the IFs are off and they're not tuning for 455, well, that doesn't really help us a lot. But that's a whole different story. So I just wanted to show you how I was tuning the BFO on this radio. And I'm not even really sure if this is going to be a very good answer for the actual final alignment. It's just I didn't have any alignment papers, and I was just looking for a way to see if the BFO was even working. And as I show you, I'll see if I can. I'm going to take that pickup that I made, and I'm going to take it off that tube and kind of confirm that as we move it away from the radio, you see that goes away. Oops. So it's definitely picking up that 455 from the radio. And there it is there. Well, my lead was touching the side of the can. But yeah, I mean, you can see how strong it is. As I get, I'm not even on that tube yet. I'm just around it. Okay. Oh, and I'll show you when I turn. That's me touching the side of the radio again. When I turn the BFO off, it goes away. BFO on, off. Now there's a little adjustment on the top of it. Let's see. There's a little adjustment on the top of the BFO can, which is, I think they call it. Oh, let me see what they call it. They call it beat oscillator, and then it's got some numbers. And basically, I think I haven't taken it apart yet, but I think it's just a capacitor. And as I move that, hang on, let me shut that down. As I move you can actually see it as I move that. It'll go up and down. So when I was setting the BFO frequency, I kind of had this tuned to where it was right in the middle, so it could go both above and below 455. Again, I don't know if that's actually the policy for the alignment of this radio, but that's what I did. All right, so before I go into an alignment or anything, the radio kind of works, but I'm really unhappy with the tuning selector, the switch, the band selector here, because that's the one, if you go from the right, if you go clockwise, it seems to work. If you go counterclockwise, it doesn't work as good. You have to kind of rock it. So I'll take that apart. It's one long shaft that controls a whole bunch of switches, and I'll show you that here in a second. Let me shut this off. You know, you got to be careful when working with vacuum tubes because there's some elevated voltages, and you sure don't want to just stick your finger somewhere if you're not used to it. And the problem is sometimes I work with transistor stuff, and then I go to vacuum stuff, and I have to remind myself to be very careful because you gotta love transistor stuff. You can just shove your fingers anywhere. Well, to a point. To a point. All right. So let me see if I can get you zoomed in here. Okay, so here's the tuner. Here's the tuner switch right here. And it's got, from the tuner, it's got switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think there's one back here, 6. And some of these have a front and a back, so you might have switch 1 front, back. And there's one long shaft that goes all the way through that runs all these to kind of make them all work at the same time. And then in the front, this right here is it's like a D10. It's got some ball bearings in it, and that hopefully locks you in at the right position. So there's a hair hanging on there. So I want to take a look at that. I'm not sure why I'm having issues with that, but and then I think after that we're going to be ready to look for the alignment process. So stay tuned. And this was just a quick video. I have so much going on here at the farmhouse here that there's just, I'm lucky I'm even getting 5 minutes to work on this.